They started shooting. They shot him in the arm.
Alikuwa amepigwa risasi zaidi ya kama 7 ama 8 hivi.
Kwa mwizi. Hi Simon. Hapana.
This is a case of an assassination and a message being sent to me very strongly. We should call a spade a spade.
On the first day of June 2016, as the country saw parallel political rallies at Uhuru Park and Afra Stadium in Nakuru, Cherly Gitonga and her boyfriend Cameroon Chase Huntler, a 26-year-old American national, were walking to the mall for breakfast. Cherly says her boyfriend was all smiles as they chatted away until 3 men confronted them.
One of them pulled out a gun and pointed it at Cameron. And he said, "Give me the bag." And I told him, "Babe, just give them the bag, give them everything they want." Then the other guy, he came behind and tried to grab the bag from Cameron, and Cameron pushed him.
The apparent robbery unfolding at 11 o'clock in the morning did not arouse attention from motorists on Kilimani Road.
And then the other one cocked the gun and pointed it at me, and Cameron got angry. And he pulled me back because I was a bit ahead of him. He pulled me back, then he shoved me to the road, and he tried to push the gun or pull it, I'm not sure, but he reached for the gun. And then they started shooting. They shot him in the arm. Then the other guy pulled him back and he hit the other guy with his arm again.
Cameron was fighting to stay alive as the girlfriend tried to save his life.
When they shot him in the face, he was falling and he landed there. It was an awkward position because his arm looked bent in a weird way. And then his legs, I can't remember, but I started screaming for a car to help us because we were walking and I was panicking. So a man in blue Mercedes came and stopped right next to us, and he jumped out of the car and pulled out a first aid kit, and then I flipped him over and I tried to put it back in, but it wasn't going in. It wasn't going back in and there was so much blood. I was trying to lift him and I kept trying to talk to him, and he was groaning because he was in so much pain. And then we put him in the car with the help of some people. And the driver, the doctor, he took us to the nearest hospital. I told him we go to Nairobi Hospital, but he said he's losing too much blood. And when we got to the hospital, there was so much blood in the doctor's car, and there was brains on the door of the doctor's car.
Cameroon was rushed to Nairobi Women's Hospital, a few kilometers away from the scene of the shooting. Dr. Cherly Gitonga told the lead the 26-year-old American national was in a bad state.
You can imagine someone who's been shot and has brains oozing out. Their breathing is compromised, definitely. So the first thing we did was to intubate him, which means putting a tube through the trachea to help him breathe. Yeah? And obviously, again, because of the abdominal or gunshot to the abdomen, then the suspicion was that an abdominal viscera may have ruptured and there may have been intraperitoneal hemorrhage, or what we call internal bleeding.
Racing against time, the doctor says the gunshot victim had suffered fatal injuries.
From the nature of injuries, it was definitely a close-range shooting, yes. Probably 5 to 10 meters. Yeah. It was around about 40 minutes of resuscitative measures, trying to get the breathing in order, trying to get circulatory pressures up, and then he actually succumbed in the process of planning surgery.
Cameroon succumbed to his injuries. Cherly Gitonga turned to her father.
From that point, I just called my dad and told him that my boyfriend has been shot and we're in hospital.
The former Lugari Member of Parliament says the killing of Cameroon will have passed off as a normal robbery, gone wrong, until the daughter received a text message a few days after the boyfriend's killing.
Wewe ujichunge sana hiyo mdomo yako, na ukishindwa tutakuonyesha kuizima. Sisi hatukuogopi hata kidogo.
She's neither a politician. She has not talked anything. Asking her to close her mouth or to keep her mouth shut doesn't make sense at all, because she never talks. So clearly the message was meant for me, based on the claims or the claim I had lodged on behalf of the late Jacob Juma.
The leader has seen the text message that the former YK92 boss believes was not meant for the daughter, but the father.
For me, it's clear. This was a warning. If these were thugs, where did they get her number? When I went to discuss this thing with a certain senior police officer, he told me they normally receive a lot of messages, and the messages are normally sent by prisoners. Something that I laughed at, because a prisoner, if he's sending a message, it will be an extortion message looking for M-Pesa or some kind of thing. A message that was sent to my daughter the day after would not have come from a prisoner. Secondly, the law of probability does not allow that to happen. Whichever way you look at it, that your boyfriend is shot today and tomorrow you receive a message warning you to keep quiet. So this is a case of an assassination, and a message being sent to me very strongly.
Gitonga captured national headlines when he claimed that high-ranking government officials were behind the murder of businessman Jacob Juma on the first week of May this year.
As a country, I think time has come when we must stand firm. As a country, I think time has come when we should call a spade a spade. And having made a claim on behalf of a member of my community, and as a community leader, the message then sent to my daughter after the murder of the boyfriend doesn't make sense at all if it was meant for her, because she's neither a politician, she has not talked anything. Asking her to close her mouth or to keep her mouth shut doesn't make sense at all, because she never talks. So clearly the message was meant for me, based on the claims or the claim I had lodged on behalf of the late Jacob Juma, and that it was making a lot of people uncomfortable.
Was the killing of Cameroon Huntley robbery gone wrong, or a coded warning to Cherly Gitonga over the remarks he made during a requiem mass of the slain businessman Jacob Juma? Every hospital in the country must notify the nearest police station of any reported cases of gunshot-inflicted incidents within 24 hours. Such reports are then followed up by the police who visit the hospitals.
I've not heard of, or none has approached me in my capacity for any information with regards to the shooting. And on the day of the shooting, none again also approached us for any information.
If that was not strange, the shooting incident that occurred barely 5 kilometers away from Kilimani police station was booked at the Kabete police station. Again, ideally, such a case should have been taken over by police officers drawn from Kilimani police station. The family of Cherly Gitonga maintains those who killed Cameroon Huntley were not ordinary thugs, but a trained group of people.
The precision with which this was carried out is exactly the precision with which Juma's murder was done. The ruthlessness, the number of bullets being unleashed, it tells you it is the same team, same squad. Because If you are shooting somebody because you feel you are threatened, you'll shoot one bullet. But how many bullets were shot at Cameron? Several. How many bullets were shot at Juma? Several. And that is from very close range.
Weeks after the fatal shooting of Cameron Huntler, police in the city announced that they had gunned down his killers. The person who witnessed the killers take the life of a man she loved was by this time out of the country.
My daughter has not identified or been called to identify or look at any dead body to confirm whether they are the people who confronted them.
Was the killing of Cameron meant to send a strong message to Cyrus Girongo or his daughter, or was he just a victim of a violent robbery, or was this in fact part of a major cover-up of the mysterious killing? The killing of the killers of Cameron mirrored the cold-blood murder of 4 other people whom police claim were behind the murder of the businessman Jacob Juma.
The investigation team revisited the scene in the company of 27 other officers drawn from various stations and the crime scene support service personnel. And with the assistance of advanced detector equipment, they managed to recover 2 spent cartridges of an AK-47 rifle.
Unable to find a single witness or lead into the highway gangland execution of Jacob Juma, police investigators resorted to analyzing 2 spent cartridges they alleged they had recovered after Juma's murder from the scene of his killing. The recovery came after a pronouncement by the police service that they had not been able to recover a single spent cartridge from the scene where Jacob Juma had been gunned down. The scene had also remained unsecured. Police will later announce that the spent cartridges from an AK-47 rifle were examined and matched the firearm recovered in the hands of 2 people whom they claimed were notorious gangsters in the city. The National Police Service painted a picture of a most sought-after gang that has specialized in waylaying their victims and forcing them into automated teller machines where they emptied their savings. At times, the gang, according to the police, will kidnap their victims and demand for ransom. The lead pieces together the last moments of the 2 of the 4 men described by the police as most wanted gangsters in the city. Simon Muturi and 3 of his colleagues were gunned down on the night of May 23rd along Uhuru Highway, and an AK-47 rifle and a pistol recovered from them.
Mimi siku hiyo nilikuwa kazi. Na mimi kwanza nilisikia on Monday, na mimi nilipigwa na bibi yake. Sasa wakati bibi yake alinipigia, ndio usiku huo nikalala, siku nyingine nikaenda kufanya nini, tukaenda kumtafuta pale, kumtafuta nini City Mortuary.
My cousin ndiye alisikia kwa barabara ati Simon ameshutiwa. So mama ndiye akapigia my mama hata hakuwa around. Venye alimpigia my mama akakuja. Mimi hata sikujua.
Police were quick to point out that the gun that felled Jacob Juma was the very gun they recovered from one of the suspects. The lead can now reveal that the police story does not add up in many ways. The man the police claim was a most notorious gangster was a fellow police officer. The Nairobi Investigations Police Chief is quoted by the Star newspaper saying was attached to Wilson Airport Police Station. The lead traces Simon Muturi to Mombasa, where he worked before being suspended after an assault incident. Simon was later moved to Rongai Police Station before another transfer to Nairobi's Central Police Station.
He was a depressed person. After penye alipoteza jicho yake, it was hard for him to accept himself ati ndivyo yako. After kutoji accept, then ikakuwa ngumu for him. Hata tumeenda clinic, how many times tumeenda clinic Kenyatta for we go to a psychiatry, then psychiatry anatupeleka kwa counseling.
Kwa mwizi.
Kwa mwizi. Hi Simon, hapana.
The day Simon Muturi was gunned down, he had spent time in Landmawe Estate, a walking distance to the scene where he was shot dead by fellow police officers. A close friend to the slain interdicted police officer told the lead the vehicle they were traveling in was waylaid by police officers who opened fire indiscriminately. One of the occupants managed to escape as Muturi made it for a tunnel. Armed police officers followed him up, arrested him, interrogated him for long before finally executing him.
Alikuwa amepigwa risasi mingi sana. Alikuwa amepigwa risasi zaidi ya kama 7 ama 8 hivi.
The widow says Simon had lost one of his eyes sometime back in Gong while on a rescue mission of a victim whose house had been raided by an armed gang. In panic, the man shot Simon in the head with a bird hunting gun.
He was a depressed person. He had depression. And out of hiyo jicho yake. Na ni out of serving Kenyans. Out of kwenda kwa mwenye alienda kusaidia mwenye huko ndiye alimshoot.
If indeed Simon was behind the murder of Jacob Juma, it is not clear why flying squad police officers did not give him a chance to stand trial before a court of law. Indeed, the killing of Jacob Juma was carried out by well-trained gunmen, and it's not clear how a one-eyed Simon Muturi would have pulled off such a clean job on the Eurobond whistleblower. The lead can now reveal that the night Jacob Juma was killed along Lenana area on Gong Road, Simon Muturi was in Limuru tending to his chicken and a grinding mill, a struggling business he was trying to put up.
According to you, ndugu yako hakuwa mwizi wako wa muuaji ama?
Ndugu yangu hakuwa mwizi. Kwanza hata kulingana na venye uwanga sasa penye stories zinaenda alikuwa na pesa. Kwanza kama sisi nyumbani aliacha nini? Tulikuwa na bill kubwa sana ya almost 86 ya stima. Sasa hiyo mambo ya kusema alikuwa na pesa na nini. Sasa hata sisi hiyo ni mshangao kwetu.
The lead doesn't have evidence of Simon Muturi engaging in armed crime in the city. Among them, what police say was the armed robbery involving a daughter of a former cabinet minister. The fact that Jacob Juma was shot at close range and his scene of murder staged, the gunning down of Simon Muturi and the claim that he was the man behind the murder of the businessman has raised eyebrows. Nothing was stolen from Jacob Juma on the night he was shot dead.
Wazazi wake ni wazee. So babake ndiye anamsaidia kusiaga, so akipata kidogo anatutumia na mimi hapa na struggle here. So to me Simon didn't have any cash. He didn't.
When he died, did you have a chance of looking at his accounts? Was there money?
There was no money in both of his accounts. There was no money. Equity, they had only 2,000. Cooperative, they had no cash.
Investigations by the lead also showed that those who killed Jacob Juma had tried to stop him from bleeding.
To me, sikumjua hivyo. Na circumstances za kifo chake, to me bado sijai kubali hivyo. Kwa mwizi. Hi Simon. Hapana.
The entry wounds of bullets that claim his life must have been inflicted by a highly trained shooter. If indeed the one-eyed police officer, Simon Muturi, killed Jacob Juma just to send him.
Walikuja wakasema ni investigation, hata walikuja tu straight bedroom, kaangalia wakachukua ma uniforms na laptop na wakaenda. Hata si ati mimi na expect kama ilikuwa nile kuna wana suspect wangetoanisha everything upside down. Unaona kuna kitu wanatafuta. Lakini sikuwa walikuja tu bedroom hata mimi nilikuwa nawaambia box ya Simon ndio hii. Nguo za Simon hivyo. Yeah? Although hawakuwa na shida na mimi lakini kama ni search I expect ingekuwa tara.
Despite the Directorate of Criminal Investigations Department promising to get to the bottom of Jacob Juma's murder, nothing has moved. The family of the slain businessman now says it is not convinced that Simon Muturi was behind the murder of their own, and this is part of a perpetual cover-up by the state. First things first, how have you been since? For the first time on Kenyan television, Jacob Juma's widow, Miriam Juma, has broken her silence following the murder of the man she loved.
It has been very hard with my 2 children. Yeah, it's very hard. Every day is very difficult.
Miriam says police investigations have been casual in handling Juma's murder. The fact that the DCI department has failed to avail to the family details of Juma's last movements reinforces long-held view that someone somewhere wanted Juma's killers to walk free.
Proper investigation should have been done first. And if it comes to the point that the inquest has to be done, it has to be thorough. Unlike past times when other inquests have led to not so much.
It is not clear why the government has indicated it wants to set up a public inquest when the supposed killers of Juma have since been gunned down. Miriam says the husband was a worried man weeks before he was gunned down. Our worries were heightened when the husband failed to return our calls and failed to show up at home.
It's very hard.
The leaders obtained phone records and text messages from the slain businessman that indicate that Jacob Juma was indeed a whistleblower and had information on the controversial Eurobond saga. Juma had last spoken to a former cabinet minister before his killers waylaid him. Police had told the media that Juma was in the company of a female colleague who told the police she was dropped in the central business district by Juma.
We managed to trace the lady who recorded a statement and indicated that the deceased dropped her around Trattoria around 8 that evening.
The lead met Cherly Gitonga for the first time, and she says she had never met Jacob Juma before and their first meeting was not a planned one.
Jacob Juma nilipatana naye on Thursday 5th May. Ilikuwa lunchtime, nilikuwa nimebeba rice bila stew. So I had gone to an M-Pesa to withdraw money niende ninunue stew. That's when nikiwa M-Pesa mtu akaingia after mimi. Akaingia akasema he wanted to stop an M-Pesa transaction. Akasema ametuma kwa wrong number asimamishiwe. So that's okay, I was there, so he alileta commotion mingi na huyo madamu M-Pesa, so nikaambiwa ningoje kidogo. Hivyo basi alivyomalizana na M-Pesa akaniona hapo. Akaniuliza, habari yako, jina lako ni nani? Nikamwambia jina yangu. Sasa nikamwambia jina. Akaniambia kama akanitisha namba. Nilimuona alikuwa anakaa mtu wa kuheshimiwa. Hivyo basi mimi nikampea namba sababu nilijua maybe I'm business oriented, so nilijua maybe hapa anaweza ni offer business opportunity in future, so nikampa tu namba.
Cheryl, who has been a person of interest with the police for some time now, says Jacob Juma will later call her for a meeting in his Westlands office.
Kufika hapo tukaongea for a short while, alafu nikamwambia mimi lazima ningeenda nyumbani saa hiyo. Sikuwa nataka kuchelewa nje. Nikamwambia acha nichukue cab, taxi inipeleke town. Akaniambia hapana, since pia natoka, acha nipeleke town ndio sasa atoke aende nyumbani. Tukaenda town, akanidrop hapo karibu na Trattoria.
Cherly Gitonga's story adds up until she's dropped in the Central Business District. The Criminal Investigations Department's version of events raised eyebrows of a major cover-up of Juma's last movements.
You're telling us you lose him at some point with a female passenger, and then the female passenger tells you she was dropped outside Trattoria. There are cameras there, there are city council cameras there. the cameras, absolutely 7 of them near Trattoria area. What are they telling you that you've not told me?
I've stated very clearly, and I get my point on Onsarigo, that not all cameras are working in town. Some they might have some reasons for not working. What we have picked so far, and we are not done as yet. We are still looking at all the cameras that are in certain positions, which we believe to have been the route that was taken by the deceased.
But the DCI's version contradicts owners of buildings around the Trattoria area who have told the lead that indeed the cameras were working, but it was raining heavily. Indeed, the CCTV cameras mounted by the National Police Service are said to have captured Juma's last movement, leaving the central business district. But insiders say the content appears to have been removed from the police system, who asked for the CCTV footage and for what reason. Police are yet to arrest any suspect, let alone point to a possible motive behind the murder of Jacob Juma. For the families of those killed by policemen under unclear circumstances, it is a new life altogether. Eunice, whose husband has been a police officer for more than 5 years now, has been struggling to raise a baby.
After 1 month, we cannot pay.
Why? The reason?
Because wanasema alikuwa the circumstances surrounding to his death ndio inaleta shida.
So if he was a thug, thugs are not paid. That's what they say.
So I wonder if they do punish the family. Because at the end of the day, Simon is no longer. He'll never be there for his child. As a family, we'll never be together. There, that's what they saw was fine. I would like the benefits to my husband. At the end of the day, he was still a police officer. He has served this nation for like 9 years. And he just cannot always let go like that. He served this nation to the extent anaumia. But at the end of the day, unaona Kenya ni kama hiyo ndio shukurani. You kill him and no benefit to his family. No benefit to his child.
Was he ever arrested even once for serious crime?
No, he has never. No, he has never been. He has never been. He has never been.
The same police that has now looked the other way, painting Simon as a bad contact in police circles. For Jacob Juma's family, it has been 4 long months of waiting for word from the government over what exactly claimed the life of their loved one, their breadwinner.
I would like to tell the government and the authority that since Juma's death, we as Juma's family have not felt
For the young Cherly Gitonga, staying out of the country to mourn her lover has been the safe option. Driven by fear of being harmed in the country she has called home for over 2 decades, Cherly has to wait until police investigations explain why Cameroon Huntler was gunned down in broad daylight. Since Jacob Juma was killed, 6 other people have died under mysterious circumstances. The number is more than a dozen people have died in the last 6 months in the hands of the police. Circumstances the National Police Service has tried to explain with little success. For now, those affected will have to wait. Onsarigo, the lead, KTN News.